Welcome, everyone, to the 2018 Sonoma Vintage Report. I'm very excited that you're all here. This is our final Vintage Report in the 2018 series. And on top of that, it's my home city of Santa Rosa, so I'm always happy to be home. But thank you all for joining us for today. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we have in store for the program and a little bit more about our Vintage Report organization as a whole. So I think that's a good place to start. What exactly is the Vintage Report? Why are we here? And really, my goal is that the Vintage Report is going to be a story. Today's conference will be a story about you and your wines and 2018. So I'm hoping that through the scientific analysis that our speakers have developed over the last couple of months, you'll be able to take a consensus from the previous growing season and perhaps improve upon practices or methods that were developed in the previous year to move forward into the coming vintage and in growing seasons in many years to follow. We've been working with Fruition Sciences to develop content for this region and for this area, and we're very happy with our partnership with Fruition. And Fruition Sciences serves also as the parent company for the Vintage Report. Another way in which we develop content for our program is through our board of advisors. We have two dedicated boards, both in France and in the United States. In France, our board is primarily composed of researchers and scientists from the top viticulture and enology programs in France. And here in the United States, we're very privileged to be working with some of the industry's best wine industry practitioners, such as winery owners, winemakers, and academics as well. And through these two boards, we really gain a great perspective on the issues that we need to cover throughout our Vintage Report programs. We get connected with new topics and new speakers as well. We'll also be discovering a lot of new concepts in analytics today. Most of our conversations are going to be data-driven, and all this data has to come from somewhere. So these companies, among others, we will be hearing a lot from today, and it will feature their analysis. The Vintage Report also has a strategic scientific partnership with Montpellier Supagro, one of the top viticulture and enology programs in France, and they serve as our intellectual backbone, so to speak, because they will support us if we have any technical questions. We can always rely on their faculty. So the final way in which we gain support for our programs is through our sponsors. Unfortunately, it's not free to put on Vintage Reports. I wish it was. But we rely heavily on our sponsors to be able to underwrite our costs year in and year out for both the event and our yearly costs. And this starts with our title sponsor. We have three today, the first being 360 Vidi. This is a software application that's being developed by Fruition Sciences. We're going to hear more about it right before the break, as Gino Camozzi from Fruition is going to give us a live demo of what exactly 360 Vidi is. And then I guess essentially it is a hub of data where you as the wine grower can connect all of the data background that you have in your vineyard to make better decisions in your wine growing practices. We also have Blue Vitae, which is being distributed locally by Enartis. And this is a product which restores soil microbial fertility. And it's been shown to increase soil health while improving vine growth and grape quality. Sounds like a miracle, so do talk to JT. He's going to be doing a demo table out here for the break. And then, of course, our final title sponsor for the day is ETS Laboratories. ETS has been with us since day one in 2010 when we first started our program, and they've been with the wine industry since, I believe, 1974, providing the most advanced and the best analysis for laboratory analysis in the wine industry. In addition to our title sponsors, we're also helped out generously by our general sponsors, including Vivlis, G3, Francois Frère, Lafour, Terravion, Tonnery Berger, and Enartis, Wine X-Ray, Palenque, and Vineview. So let's take a quick look at our program for the day. As most of you have an agenda, you'll be able to follow along. Of course, after I'm done yakking, we will hear from Will Farr of the Western Weather Group. He's going to be giving us a climate analysis based on all of the data that his team has collected over 2018, and he's going to kind of paint the picture of what 2018 looked like in terms of climate. And then we will be hearing from Fruition Sciences' Sebastian Payen. And a lot of people have been asking me, where's Thibaut? Thibaut Scolache is not here, but his clone is. So his co-founder, Sebastian, will be giving a presentation that they co-authored together. Then we have a special guest as well, Mia Fisher from Simonet and Cirque, and Daniel Barron will be discussing new methods in new techniques in pruning. So very excited for that. We're going to take a 20 to 30 minute break around 10:45. Then we're going to get back into it with our 2018 vintage effect on berry and wine composition, which is going to be led by Cecilia Cunningham. And Cecilia will be discussing ripening kinetics and the trends that she and her team saw throughout 2018. Then we'll hear a presentation from Luca Briante, who's newly appointed to Fresno State University. And finally, the last technical presentation that we'll have for the day will be done by Scott McLeod of Wine X-Ray, who will be going through the phenolic developments, the trends that he saw throughout the year as well. We're going to have a forum of wine growers at about 12:10. Right to my right here, it's going to be a conversation that's led by Melissa Beck, and will include Emma Krajitsky and Giuseppe Tomborello. So very much looking forward to this. It'll be sort of the consensus of the vintage from a wine grower's perspective. And it's also a great opportunity to voice your opinions on the most prevalent issues that you saw throughout the 2018 vintage. And finally, the last presentation that we'll have for the day will be by Will Thomas of Ridge Vineyards, and he's going to give us totally outside-the-box perspective on utilizing technology for wine growers. So after everything's said and done, we're going to have a lunch and I believe a small tasting in the room adjoining. So I hope everyone can join us for that. And this year, we're going to get right into it with our climate analysis being done by Western Weather Group. So the first speaker of the day, I'd like to welcome Will Farr. Thank you.